All right, let's talk about this. Fix your entire life in one day. I mean, that is a massive, almost ridiculous claim, right? But according to the writer Dan Koe, it's not about some magic pill. It's about a really deep psychological reset. So today, we're going to break down his whole framework for a complete one-day life reboot.
And he kicks things off right away with this statement. I mean, forget a year of slow, painful change. The whole idea here is that most of us, when we try to change, we're doing it in a way that is just fundamentally doomed to fail from the very start.
So, what's the first huge mistake we're all making? He calls it the resolution delusion. See, the problem isn't your willpower, and it's not your to-do list. The problem is, well, it's you, or to be more specific, the identity that you're clinging to for dear life.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got what pretty much everyone does. We try to change our actions, but that's a second-order change. It's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a rotting wall. On the right, that's the real work. Changing who you are. That is a first-order change. You're not patching the old foundation, you're pouring a brand new, solid one.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. You can't just wish for a result. You have to become the kind of person who just naturally produces that result, you know? A truly fit person doesn't have to force themselves to eat healthy. It's just who they are. Their lifestyle comes first, the outcome follows.
Okay, so if it's all about identity, why is changing it so ridiculously hard? Well, the answer is kinda sneaky. It lies in the goals you don't even know you have. This quote from the psychologist Alfred Adler is absolutely key. Forget what you say you want, your actions, your movement. They reveal what you actually want. If you say you want to start a business but you never take the first step, your actions are revealing a different goal. Maybe the goal is to feel safe or to avoid the possibility of failure. This brings us to this really fascinating idea called teleological behavior. It sounds complex, but the concept is super simple. Every single thing you do is aimed at achieving some kind of goal. So that procrastination you're doing, it isn't just you being lazy. It's an active, goal-oriented behavior to achieve something, like protecting yourself from judgment. Your brain is actually succeeding at its hidden goal. So how do we get so trapped? Well, this cycle here shows exactly how an identity gets built and then locked in place. It all starts with a goal, which changes how you see the world. Your actions then turn into habits. Those habits build your identity, and then, and this is the real trap, you start to defend that identity, which then shapes your new goals. It's this powerful feedback loop that is incredibly hard to break out of.
And this is why it feels almost impossible. When you try to challenge your own identity, when you try to become someone new, it triggers the exact same fight or flight response in your brain as a physical attack. I mean, your brain literally thinks changing your habits is a threat to your survival. No wonder we resist it so much.
So, if we are biologically wired to resist all this change, how in the world do we break through? This is where the actual solution comes in. A super structured, one-day protocol that is designed to force a psychological reset.
Here's the roadmap for the day. The morning is all about excavation. You're digging deep. Throughout the day, it's about interruption. You're consciously breaking out of autopilot. And then the evening is for synthesis, taking everything you've learned and turning it into a new direction. Let's really focus on the morning, because this is probably the most important part. The goal here is not to sit around and dream about a perfect future. No, the goal is to get brutally, painfully honest about the future you're currently speeding towards, the one you secretly dread. We're talking about creating an anti-vision. So it's not just, oh, I want to be healthy. It's about vividly picturing yourself in 10 years, completely out of breath walking up the stairs, unable to play with your kids, feeling that constant low-grade exhaustion. That pain, that's the fuel you need. So, the protocol uses a whole series of these really intense questions to get you there. Questions like this one, and you really have to sit with it. A decade from now, if nothing changes, what opportunities are just gone forever? Who in your life has finally stopped believing in you?
And then, it gets even more personal. I mean, are you the funny, lazy one in your friend group? Are you the reliable one who never takes risks? What happens when you're not that person anymore? Who might you actually lose? This forces you to really confront the hidden costs of changing.
And finally, this question. This one just cuts right through all the BS. It bypasses all your noble-sounding excuses, and it forces you to name the real, often embarrassing fear that's been holding you back. And that brutal honesty, that is the rocket fuel for real transformation. Okay, so after that really intense morning, the biggest challenge is not just slipping right back into your old patterns, and that's where the rest of the day comes in. The protocol actually uses scheduled alerts on your phone, just pointed questions that pop up and force you to be conscious. Stuff like, am I moving toward the life I hate or the life I want? Then, in the evening, you take all these raw insights and you finally synthesize them into a clear path forward.
All right, a one-day reboot is incredibly powerful, but it's just the beginning. You've had these huge insights, you've found a new direction, so how do you make it stick? Well, the answer is actually surprisingly fun. You turn your life into a video game.
And look, this isn't just some cutesy gimmick. It's actually grounded in the psychology of flow, which is what Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi is talking about here. Video games are absolutely brilliant at creating order in our minds because they give us clear goals, clear rules, and constant feedback. We can apply that exact same structure to our own lives.
So these are the 6 core components of your own personal game. You can think of it like this. You've got the stakes, your anti-vision, and your vision. Then you've got the different levels of the game, your 1-year goal, your 1-month project, and your daily actions. And finally, you have the rules of the game, your constraints.
Your 1-year goal is no longer just some target on a spreadsheet. It becomes your overarching mission. It's the main storyline of your game, and everything you do should be in service of this mission.
Every single month, you're not just chipping away at some project. You are preparing for a boss fight. It's a significant, tough challenge that once you defeat it, levels you up and gets you that much closer to completing your main mission.
And what about your daily actions? Those boring to-do list items. Those are now your quests. They're small, manageable tasks that give you experience points, unlock new opportunities, and push the main story forward. This whole thing just reframes mundane tasks into meaningful progress.
So by combining that deep, one-day psychological reset with a really powerful and engaging framework for action, the idea is that you can fundamentally change your entire trajectory. It stops being about forcing discipline, and it starts being about playing a game that you're genuinely excited to win. So the only question left is, are you ready to press start?